Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Blake News this evening, where it's not fake news, it's Blake News. And anything that's on your brain is fair game for Blake News. So before we open up the phone lines here, I want to address a couple things. First being that there is an E. coli outbreak that has been reported in 11 different states, and it's from romaine lettuce. So when you go to Thanksgiving and all that jazz with your family and everything, don't eat the lettuce, even if it's on a hamburger or a salad or whatever, chopped whole, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you do not eat any romaine lettuce, even if there's a chance of romaine lettuce being in any given salad, because you might get E. coli. So that's just how it is for now with lettuce. Oops, sorry about that. That's something we're going to be going over here in a second. So at this point, I do have my number for Blake News visible. So if you want to call in, it is now visible. I don't have to say it anymore. It's now going to appear when the line is open. It's going to appear right here. So as you can see, it's 937-660-8483. Anything that's on your brain is fair game for Blake News. So you're welcome to call at any time throughout the broadcast. You can talk about anything from any exciting Thanksgiving plans you have, or maybe the intricacies of quantum physics, or to tell me that I'm a pussy baby. Whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. So don't hesitate to call in and such. All right, and so with Thanksgiving, we all know comes Black Friday, right? And so, a lot of people use Black Friday to get to their Christmas gifts and get ready for all that jazz. And I have a list of, and it's kind of funny, I have a list of toys that are not safe for kids, and you probably shouldn't get these toys from, for your kids rather. All right. So, without further ado, I'm going to pull up the list here, and we'll go into why these toys are not safe and why you probably should not buy them as a gift. All right, let's get right into it here. So, the first toy we have here is the Nickelodeon Nella Princess Night Pillow Pets Sleep Time Lights. So this particular one, the manufacturer even says itself on the box, you can get this from Target for 20 bucks, that you should not get this for your baby. It says battery acid leakage hazard. So if you don't want battery acid on your baby, you should probably not get the Nickelodeon Nella Princess Night Pillow Pet Sleep Time Lights, just as a caution there. All right. And so there's that one. And for the next one is the Nerf Vortex VTX Praxis Blaster. This particular one is is kind of a hazard because the discs look like they appear to be like kind of hard and really small, and the velocity at which it fires, it could shoot your eye out, right? We've all seen A Christmas Story, right? And where it'll shoot your eye out kind of thing. So that'd be something interesting to talk about too. What's something that you might have gotten as a kid that wasn't safe per se? And next, from Hasbro, we have the Marvel Black Panther Slash Claw. So it claims to watch out because these the plastic claws are they slash, and so of course when you're a kid and you put this thing on your hand, and what are you going to want to do? You're going to want to use it on pets or people, because what else are you going to use it on, kind of thing, because that's what Black Panther does. So why wouldn't I do it, as if I was a 5-year-old kid or something to that effect. So this was deemed also considered in the top 10 for least safe toys of this year. Okay, next we've got the Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel Superstar Blade. Now this one is kind of a given because first of all, it has a pretty sharp point at the tip of it there, and it also it's spring action, and so it fires that little tip of the fire off the tip of the sword, and so it even says so on the packaging: potential for blunt force and eye injuries. So that's another. This one is distributed by Bandai. All right. Next, we've got the Cabbage Patch Kids Dance Time Doll. So this one in particular is the headband on this doll is removable. It's not fixed, and so that's a choking hazard for younger children, and that's pretty much it for that one. That little headband there. And now we've got the Zoo Jams xylophone. So this one in particular is just another ingestion and choking hazard for those kind of injuries. On this one, so the drumstick handle can come off, and make a kid choke or something. And this one we've got the Nikki Nisi Wonderland doll, Mini Clara the ballerina. The names for some of these are kind of silly and drawn out. So this one in particular looks like it's also a choking hazard, with the little soft plush kitten. It does look to be pretty small and such. So yeah, that's it for that one. You don't want to ingest that with your kids and stuff. Oh, and here we've got the Stomp Rocket. This is another, it says it can go up to 200 feet, and this is another one of those deals where serious eye or face injuries, aka it'll shoot your eye out, kid. The Cutting Fruit toy. This one in particular is for the poking action. The tip of the knife on this particular toy does look pretty like pointed. So yeah, it's great to pretend to cut fruit, but it's not so great to have a knife where you can poke your eye out. Okay. Okay. And then for the last one, we've got the Sheen A Promenade Pull Along Dog. So this one has to do with the string, and it's not supposed. I guess it's not supposed to be longer than 12 inches in length, but this one seems to be. It measures 19 inches, which I guess is a safety hazard because of swallowing and whatnot. Then it could block your airway or something. So yeah. Alright, switching back over here. Alright, fun stuff. So we don't get any of those toys for your kids, in summary. Oh, and By the way, thank you all so much for the feedback you've been giving me on the show. I'm taking a lot of these things into consideration, and it's very helpful. Like some of you were like, oh, hey Blake, why the hell is your chair green? And it's like, well, there's reasoning behind that, because now, as you can see, there's a green screen. Granted, we're not using it yet, but the chair will blend in. Green screen's going to blend in on the wall. It's going to be awesome. It's just a matter of getting that set up. Setting up the green screen was little more complicated than I had originally anticipated. Okay. So, alrighty. So, something else I wanted to touch on here was the, oh yeah, as you can see, I mentioned this earlier, I know, but just as a reminder, the phone number is now, oh wait. Okay, I'm hoping it was visible that whole time, but may not have been. So yeah, so as you can see, the phone number to call in, talk about whatever you like, is 937-660-8483. And I'll kind of do this action to call in and talk live on the air on Blake News. And hopefully I've got that sound key worked out. That was another great feedback that various people have provided to me on the sound issue, how loud. I know on the last episode Skype was rather loud, so hopefully that's squared away and everything to that effect. So let me make sure everything's situated here. Alrighty. So, and if you didn't know already, this is streaming live not only on Facebook but also on Twitch and on YouTube. In order to get a custom URL to make the YouTube channel easier to find, I just need a few more subscribers. I think they require 100, and I'm at like 40 something at the moment, so definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will go ahead and link that now into the live Facebook chat, because I know that's how most of you access the show and everything. So let me get that real quick like. And so we stream live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, and also Periscope. Periscope I know isn't very well known, but I think that's like the Twitter equivalent of streaming live and such. Alrighty. Alright, so putting the YouTube link in the chat now. Alrighty. So, also when you're doing your Christmas shopping, a lot of people don't know this, but you know, commonly people will go crazy for Black Friday, but then there's what's known as Cyber Monday, which is the online equivalent of Black Friday, is what it comes down to. So, you know, you go to the retail stores on Friday, and then on Monday is when you go online and they have all the Cyber Monday deals, is what they refer to as. And there were some super good deals. But as far as that goes, a lot of people like, as far as the online shopping, a lot of people like to do their shopping at like Newegg or Amazon and other retailers that are pretty huge and commonplace like that. But a lot of these super good deals that are going on, and this is my favorite online place in which I like to buy stuff, is eBay. And eBay, I've come to find over the years, really does have, like, more times than not, they do have the best prices on things. And people in their head often associate eBay with, oh, well, eBay, isn't that all just used stuff? No, that is not the case. Some of it is used, but it'll say if it's used. But there is a bunch of new stuff on there too, and it actually says whether it's new or used within the product description. And actually, a lot of times, retailers such as Best Buy and Newegg and Sony, they'll put their products on eBay as using eBay essentially as a third-party seller, but still selling things for super cheap, more times than not cheaper than what Amazon or Best Buy or the official retailer sites would have those for. So, like, for example, some of you may have seen these. I think they're called crimpers or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, they're meant to strengthen your forearms. You know, you squeeze them. That's good stuff. So I got 2 of these for $3 on eBay, and it was free shipping. And so it's one of those things too where you can find these super good deals and not pay a lot, because this isn't like main brand stuff. And even though it may not be main brand stuff all the time, it's still good quality stuff, if that makes sense. So and I've never not been satisfied with off-brand stuff, really. I can think of very few instances in which I haven't been satisfied with my purchase despite something being off-brand in terms of physical items. Food is a different story, but we're just talking non-edibles here. And yeah, alrighty. So, again, the number on your screen, 937-660-8483. Anything that's on your mind, anything that's on your brain is fair game for Blake News. And remember, it's not fake news, it's Blake News. So don't hesitate to give me a call. Excuse me. Don't hesitate to give a call and talk about whatever it is you like. It's fun content that we usually talk about. Last episode, we talked about some of the voting issues and contraception and things of that effect, but it doesn't have to be political. It can be about, you know, anything that's on your brain and on your mind that maybe something that's been bothering you lately within our society or within worldviews, or it could be personal experiences. This is like as far as maybe some Thanksgiving stories. I know some of us in our families have some pretty zany characters. Commonly, it's the uncle, right? It's always it's always Uncle Jim, who's, you know, the whack job dude or whatever, who's kind of far out there and everything. So yeah. Oh, and as far as the broadcast goes, hopefully the mic issue's fixed, and I did reposition my monitor a little over this way because some people were saying, "Oh, you're Blake, you were looking this way, so it looked like you were possessed at something over here." Well, now I have it over here, so I'm a little more hopefully it's a little more centered now, and everything to that effect. So, oh, and also also I had a lot of people calling the Blake News number right here. People were calling the Blake News number when it wasn't live. So I mean, I'm not going to be able to answer it when we're not live. And like, I had people calling at 11 o'clock and whatnot. Of course, the broadcast isn't going to last that long. You know, it starts every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and, you know, lasts anywhere from maybe, you know, 20 to 30 minutes, just to kind of bullshit around a little bit. And if you're watching it not live, if it's not Tuesday at 7 p.m. anywhere between 7 p.m. and 7:30 p.m., do not call, because I will not answer. I do log out outside of the live hours. But you know what? Maybe that's something I could consider. Maybe outside of the live hours, maybe I'll keep the line open, record any conversation that happens, and be able to play it back for your viewing pleasure live on the show. That might be an option at some point in the future, as far as the call-ins go. And I think I mentioned this before too. If you call in, you don't have to reveal what your name is or anything like that. You can remain anonymous, or if you're not comfortable with calling in, you can also talk in the chats or the YouTube or the Twitch as well. because I have all those things pulled up all at the same time. And yeah. Oh, and also to address something on the last episode with the last caller, the most recent caller from the last episode, was that concerning the whole contraception methods, right? So as far as our tax dollars going towards those things, like for example birth control and everything to that effect, what I was saying as far as like, I feel like our tax dollars or our money shouldn't go towards, shouldn't pay for other people to have sex. And, you know, I kind of stand behind that. You know, I do stand behind that because sex, you know, the government should provide, because the government decides where our tax dollars go, and the government should provide things people need for those who are in need. And I feel like as far as sex goes, sex is not a need, right? So you can survive your entire life without ever having sex ever, because it's not a need. And that's how you define what is a need, is if it's something you need in order to live. And so that's just my theory behind it, is, you know, yeah, so the government should provide for those who need, for stuff they need, whereas sex is a want. And I know there's a whole argument of, well, Blake, you know, so people are going to have sex anyway, and it would, in the long term, it would save on money to, you know, stop having these babies, unwanted babies, come in and all that jazz. And I think it's just kind of a fine line that needs to be decided. Well, it is decided, but that needs to be maybe adjusted to kind of accommodate to how everyone wants our tax dollars as a whole spent, and all that jazz. So, and also, what else did we talk about last episode? Oh yeah, so on the drug issue, we voted yes or no on whether or not we should have more severe penalties for those caught with drugs. And I feel like, so just to kind of elaborate on my viewpoint on that, if the more our government becomes complicit with people who want to always partake in like mind-altering drugs and such, is to also mean that our government is complicit with like everyone being a zombie and everything. So it's just because there are permanent effects associated with drug use, as far as in your mind and such, especially with prolonged exposure. Like if it's something you do every single day, then that does have permanent long-term effects on your brain, and so it can really change you as a person. Now, granted, at the same time, you know, that's something I guess for people to decide as well. You know, you can't always decide, oh well, you can't decide what I do with my body, kind of thing, but also what you do with your body can affect other people's bodies. So if you lose your mind from doing this stuff, then, and you decide to go in a public setting, or you're around other people, or you live with other people, then that can affect them too. And, you know, like kind of like how we talked about before with the First Amendment, you know, your rights stop where others begin, and so you can't infringe upon other people like that. Oftentimes, when you're under the effect of these mind-altering things, you can affect other people in your life, and so I think that's the primary motivation behind the government banning a lot of these illicit substances. So now there is the argument behind, oh well, cannabis, you know, that's not harmful or anything to that effect. And while it still is to some degree, just because of the whole fact that, you know, if you smoke it, there's the whole, you know, that's still carcinogens going into your body and things of that effect. But that's why a lot of states are starting to decriminalize or legalize it, and that's overall a good thing. We don't need as people for doing something relatively harmless so as to get thrown in jail for that. It's kind of silly because cannabis doesn't have the same effects as other illicit substances do. So, and Trump is actually in support of that. He wants to legalize that across the board as well. So, and that's why it's happening on a countrywide scale. So, and make sure anything. That's why I do make this program live, unedited, and uncensored, is because you know, there is a thing where anytime people say stuff and it may not be right, and you can always retract statements. That's why I make it live, unedited, so people can call in and be like, hey, well, what about this aspect of what you just talked about? And then I'll be like, oh yeah, good point. And you know, it's good to have other viewpoints come live on the show and talk about stuff. So yeah, that's always good substance. So pertaining to next week on the broadcast, listen, I tell you what, next week it's gonna be so spicy it'll make your head spin. All right, this green screen is gonna have some ball and shit on it, and my chair, since it's green, you know, it might even blend in and everything. So I might even look like I'm sitting on nothing. That'll be cool, right? As far as what I haven't decided on, there will be a theme I haven't decided on yet, but rest assured you, it's going to be spicy as ever than any other episode so far of Blake News, even though there's only been 2 so far, but you know, it'll be good. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap things up here. Kind of unfortunate no one called in because I guess I need to adjust the notification settings and everything to that effect. So yeah, good stuff to talk about this time. And remember, it's not fake news, it's Blake News. So hope everyone has a good evening. Don't eat any romaine salad, or any salad for that matter, for Thanksgiving, or you'll get a E. coli or something to that effect. So yeah, have a good evening. Later, folks.